Thanks for joining us.
You're most welcome. Is this the first time you're doing a live, I believe?
Yes.
How's it
Yes.
going? How are you feeling about it?
I started from 9 in the morning. I was trying to figure it out. Finally, I have figured out how to add people, and now let's see how that goes.
You're lucky because I just did my first Insta live with my friends 3 days ago, and I figured out how to do it myself. And it's because I sent you a request.
Yeah. I saw that live
Oh,
while you were waiting, and he was already there. Yeah, and that was fun. But then in between, I got a call, so I had to go that time. But I saw your that skull cap that you found with the makeup on.
Yeah.
Still. So how's the feeling? Like now you are finding these treasures and stuff. What's happening? Tell us something about it.
Actually, I've realized that with everything that's going on, obviously, I mean, we are facing this huge problem in the virus that's all around the world. But if we just take a minute and sit down and try to look at the other side of it, it's given us a chance to introspect so many things. Just today, actually, in Hindustan Times, I read this article online where in Punjab, the mountain range, the snow-clad mountains of Himachal Pradesh are visible, which are 200 kilometers away, and they said it's happened after 30 years, and the pollution there is down to the lowest that it's been in the last 30 years. So I'm saying there is something to learn from this experience that we are all having. Also, like I said, we've gone through this phase of, I mean, we're very lucky and privileged that our worst case scenario right now is, we're getting so bored. Whereas there's so many people out there who have such bigger problems to deal with. But having said so, whether it is cleaning up the house or taking up things that you never thought you had time for, we've got the chance to kind of do that, and we've also realized how to slow down a little bit. We've all lived these fast-paced lives. So I really hope that when we are on the other side of this, I hope that's really soon, we kind of remember all of this and kind of learn from this experience and make sure that the future that is now, ahead of us, we don't screw it up so soon.
Right.
And so, yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of time to think about all these things, so I'm sharing it.
Yeah, and also I'm hoping that that post this thing, life would be entirely different. How we view things, how we approach things, and even the work culture, I think, because now everybody is working from home, we are figuring it out, and I think this is like a tectonic shift kind of a situation where everything that we know of would be changed, and if the lockdown continues or whatever it is, whenever we are out of this,
I really hope so.
what is the one? What's the one thing that you are really looking forward to after this is over?
Honestly, we were in the middle of shoot. We were shooting for the season 2 of Avai, and we had to stop. So that's the first thing that I get back to. But like I said, I would really want to see lesser cars out there, and I think what we've also right now learned, because we don't know how long the situation is going to last, is that we are rationing things. We are not over consuming or over ordering or wasting stuff. So I think we've started to kind of realize that things are not always permanent, and we need to kind of respect everything that we have in our lives and use it wisely. So I really hope that we continue doing this, that we don't waste things, but I'm not saying waste water, obviously those are the last things but even when it comes to food, or even when you're ordering food, or don't just cook too much and throw it in the garbage. And so all those things, I think, I really hope, I'm looking forward to a slightly more enlightened, if that is a big word, it's a slightly more learned us in the future.
Right. And I think everybody is learning to cook finally. Have you tried that?
I actually used to cook, and I do cook from time to time. But in the past few days, yes, I've been trying to do different things. There is this new coffee that everybody's talking about.
I tried making it.
What is it called?
I don't know how to pronounce it. It's dalgona.
Dalgona. So I did that yesterday, and I was a nice forearm workout trying to whisk it.
Yeah, I tried it for 1 hour, and I was like feeling all strong, 2.5 kilo ke haath and stuff happening.
I know. So I did that, and I've been cooking some breakfast. I cooked some pasta the other day. So yeah, I've been keeping myself busy doing all of that stuff.
Right, and you're dancing also. I saw that video. How cool was that?
It was I don't know whether I should be angry at Suha or say thank you to her, because it was one of those
Please
things.
thank her from
It's
all of us.
it's just an excerpt from what was happening for like about 10-15 minutes at home, and she recorded it, and she just luckily shared a small bit of that recording. But yeah, I mean, I mean, it was, I was planning to work out, and I didn't actually work out in the last 2 days, and I was like, what do I do? And then I made that dalgona coffee,
I
and
think I think you should do these things instead of just hitting the gym.
yeah,
We
yeah,
get
no,
to
so
see you dance also.
I think it was a little bit of caffeine and sugar high that had to contribute towards that, because I just had that coffee, and I was like, what should I do to warm up? And I started jumping, and I played the music, and then then all of that happened.
You were totally in your elements. Like I was like laughing that this
Yeah,
is just self isolation happening properly. And also you're a good photographer also. I'm seeing a lot of your pictures now. You have like your like you can shoot so high and the pictures are gorgeous. How is that happening? How is that passion of yours going?
it's good. I mean, I actually went out, and took some pictures of some eagles, kites the other day on the terrace. I mean, I've loved doing photography. I love wildlife photography. Every time I'm traveling or we go to a wildlife reserve, I'm
Yeah.
always, my camera is always with me. Or even like now, not so much because Inaya is there and she's got a lot of stuff. But earlier when we used to travel, I used to have a separate bag dedicated to my camera, lenses, equipment.
Oh wow.
And it's a hobby that actually started in Calcutta a couple of years ago. Actually, 5 years ago, I was shooting a film there, and I'd never been to Calcutta, and I fell in love with the beautiful, a mix of architecture and so many cultures, and the way people dressed up, the by-lanes, and just the walls and the windows.
Right.
And I was taking a lot of pictures on my phone, and a lot of people said, hey, these are nice pictures. But I realized the resolution on them was so low, and I couldn't achieve depth of field and all of those things, because I was taking some tutorials online as well. And then that's what I did. And that year on my birthday, I invested in a proper camera and a proper gear. And I've ever since kind of, it's been a passion of mine. So yes, staying at home, I've been trying to do different uh, hacks. That's what I've realized.
Right.
When you go on YouTube and you see different hacks of using this and different hacks of doing that.
Right.
So I've been
The
trying to
bouquets
follow.
are happening and all those things.
Yeah. So I'm trying my hand with all of that, and so yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm actually, that's what I've been telling people. This is the best time to kind of find a hobby and invest in it, or just something that you always wanted to do. Like if you have an instrument lying around, start it. And thankfully, with the gift of internet and all of YouTube and all of the things that we have, everything is at our fingertips. Today, if I want to cook a new
Right.
dish, I can watch a tutorial or a cooking video. Or if I want to learn a guitar, any particular song or any particular chord, I can do that. Even with photography, you can do all of that. So we should be slightly more constructive. And I also feel that it's very important. Just because we don't have anything to do doesn't mean that we sleep late and wake up late. That actually it's not a healthy thing, and you start feeling slightly low after a few days. So I honestly feel that we should kind of if not sleep very early, but sleep at a decent time, wake up at a decent time in the morning, and set yourself a routine, and that'll keep you going and your energy's up.
So do you like wake up and get ready and like do your stuff, or you're in your pajamas mostly the entire day?
Well, there are days when I have not changed out of my pajamas, but I try to wake up every morning, take a shower, do something, like do. And luckily with Inaya, because she's also home and her play school is also not happening, a lot of mornings are in like around her, with her, from breakfast to doing activities with her and playing with her. So it kind of, I think she makes us slightly more active. Otherwise, maybe I would have also stayed in bed and like thought ki, "Arey chalo abhi."
So when does she wake up? Like she's
up.
an early riser.
Yeah, she's up at 7:15, and at 7:30, if I'm not up already, there's a knock on my door, and she's like, "Papa, can I come in?"
So what's your favorite activity with her, and what are you learning about her now that you're full time home?
I actually enjoy doing a lot of painting with her. She loves to draw, and like, I mean, just with a lot of colors. The other day, I was just about to go for a shower, so I just took my t-shirt off and I just lay down there and I said, "Now paint, Papa." So she had lots of fun just covering me with paint.
So sweet.
And so yeah, I mean, all of that, and like we dance together, and luckily she has another friend who's just a couple of months older than her, and this whole building is being quarantined. So we're very lucky that a couple of these kids, have
Right.
the same age. So she's here. So sometimes we're just running around, dancing, doing story time.
Right. And also you have a dog at home, Masti.
Yes. Yes.
How is that happening? Like, is she getting agitated at home?
No, Musty's actually been with me. I think Musty and Soha came into my life in the same year.
Yeah.
Musty is also 12 years old, so she's not all that energetic. But so she's always there. She likes to be with people, so she's always hanging around us. But I think she's pretty much. I would feel bad if she was a bigger dog who needed a lot of exercise, and now that we're homeborn, that wouldn't be possible. But I think she still goes down for walks, and sometimes we take her to the terrace for a little bit of run. But like I said, she's 12, so she doesn't have all that energy, and she doesn't need to burn all that energy. So I'm just making sure that she eats right, so that she kind of it doesn't put on a lot of weight. But otherwise, she's been chilling with us. We've all been in.
And is Inaya bonding with Masti now better?
So,
or they are still not in a very friendly kind of a zone?
I think they have their moments. Musty wasn't very welcoming of her initially because she was like, who is this new person who's taking away all the love and attention? But I think they've reached a place where Musty does let her kind of pet her and to a certain extent. And before Inaya can get too boisterous, Musty will just walk away from there saying that, listen man, don't trouble me so much.
That's about it.
Yeah, that's about
it. So and how are they like? What is their like when they are in a good mood? What is their favorite thing to do together?
Well, they don't do much together. I think the favorite thing for Musty is when Inaya is eating because she knows that she's going to throw something away. And I think Inaya is very happy because that's the only time she has Musty's undivided attention. So I think, it's food time is their favorite.
So Inaya is more willing to be friends with him, but Musty is not that. I mean, like, I came first, you figure out.
Yeah. Musty is like, I can tolerate you as long as you're not bothering me. But you're a cute kid and all that, but I'm cute.
And also, you fostered a lot of dogs.
Yeah.
Is that still going on, or
So I used to foster a lot of them home, but at some point I had to stop doing that because it was not having a very good effect on Musty. Because now both of the dogs actually, Mishti and Nimki, were both that I fostered.
Such cute names.
We were lucky enough that Soha's mom adopted them. She fell in love with them.
Oh.
So both of them have stayed in my house for 2 months. And that was the time when Musty started acting up a little bit, and her veterinarian told me that because she's an older dog, she wouldn't mix with them, and I think after a certain point it started depressing her, so we had to put her on medication because she started feeling unwell, and she started peeing at home and behaving out of character, and she was just acting out, and she wasn't very happy with that situation. So the first time I thought we could deal with it, but the second time when I saw it happen, I realized that it's not fair to Musty because she'll be miserable for those 2 months. But I still work with the same foundation, that's World for All, and we do a lot of work with them. So whether it's an adopt-a-thon or they do great work from rescue to sterilization to fostering and getting dogs adopted, not just dogs, cats and other animals also. So that work is also on, but I've stopped fostering them at home.
And now with the lockdown situation, how the organization is functioning? What's happening there?
It's become tough, but I mean they're still going on. And right now also there were a lot of places where a lot of stray dogs were being fed, and now that's also become an issue because a lot of people are not allowed to. And initially they used to find stuff, because there are all these hawkers always, so somebody would throw something, so they would always have access to some kind of food. But there are still volunteers who are out there who are trying to do this good deed, and we are kind of trying to get as much help as we can by spreading awareness, and we've also reached out to people and asked for help, whether it's monetary or whatever way possible. So all of that is also happening.
And how is it going with Soha? Like now that you both are forever together in the house, how is that happening?
It's a mix and match. I think everybody who's with their spouses or girlfriends or better halves will exactly know what I'm saying. There are times where you're like, hey, great, this is amazing that this quarantine is happening, and
then you can't walk out if there's a fight. You
And then the
have to
other side
stay
to that,
there.
it's not like you can say, hey, listen, I need to go get some air and like I'll come back in an hour. Let me just go to the gym or let me just go meet
Right.
somebody. So you have to, but I think it's an interesting experiment to be a part of, because you'll realize all these things and like I said, I mean, right now the whole aspect of freedom also comes into play. We take so many things for granted, and now we are
Right.
respecting all of that. And also, talking of introspection, I posted that picture, and it really touched me, and I got teary eyed when I looked at that picture of a panda in a cage, and it said, "Now we know how animals feel in a zoo." And
True.
in a lot of ways we do. I mean, some of us are blessed to have slightly bigger houses than others, but then I know that there are so many people who, like, too many people live in a smaller space, and now they're confined in that. So yeah, I mean, like I said, coming back to the start, I really hope that when we're out of this, we kind of start afresh on a better foot.
Right. And we have to talk about Go Goa Gone because that's my one of my favorite movies ever. Like ever. And I keep on putting references of the movie everywhere and yeah, and people are like, what's with you? Like, what is this? But yeah, I'm just so glad finally that sequel is happening. Like, I don't want any movie to have sequels because I think sequels just spoil it. But where it ended, it requires a sequel, and it's been so long. So how are you? Like, what's happening? Like,
That's actually
what
so
took
much
so
pressure.
long? It is.
Honestly, yeah. So it's so interesting that we're very blessed that 7.5 years down the line, there is so much love and affection for this film. That everywhere that I go, people talk about this film and they want to see a part of it. And honestly, for me, I feel like a proud father when it comes to Gogo Agon, because literally Gogo Agon is a baby that was given birth to by Raj DK and myself in my house then where I used to live, and nobody else believed in it at that point of time. And it, like I said, it's like necessity is the mother of invention. And we realized that we had no money, nobody wanted to. When they heard the idea of the zombie film, nobody kind of understood what we were saying, and they were like, maybe these guys have lost the plot. And that led us to kind of reaching within, and for me also to kind of start writing, because they're not very good with Hindi, and this was a Hindi film, and even though we had all these ideas, somebody had to put them to paper in the language that was understood, and that's how I kind of said, okay, I will do it, let me try it. And that's how I actually learned how to use Final Draft and how to write dialogues for not just
Oh,
me but other
but you're
actors.
not
And
trained in doing it, or you didn't have any
no,
kind
no,
of.
no, no, nothing at all. I mean, I've always
Wow.
had a creative mind and I've had ideas, and when we're doing comedies, we'll always improvise on our lines and how can happen, but it
Mm-hmm.
never in a professional setup. And I think also at that point we didn't know if this was going to happen, so I said, like, let's at least learn something from it. And so starting from there, and then eventually finding somebody like a Seth who was the only guy who believed in Gogo Agon, and not just by saying that, okay, I'll make it, but also saying I'll color my hair blonde and I'll play this part called Boris.
My God, Baris is like it's the thing.
Yeah, so and so for us to make that film, not knowing what's going to happen, and then for it getting so much love over these years. So I mean, there'll be nobody happier than myself. I would have done this film the moment it came out and done a second part, but unfortunately, the other side of business is that we don't actually own the IP. The IP belongs to the producers, and it's a logistical stuff that is taking a long time for this to all happen.
Okay.
I'm hoping that the intent has always been there, though. I mean, for 3 years now, everybody involved wants to make this film. So what actually is taking this time, even I don't know, and I hope that it kind of ends soon. And I really hope that we
But you have
all come together.
written it as well.
The second one, no, I haven't. We have ideas. I haven't seen a
You have not.
script.
Oh my God! It's again another like long wait. I was hoping that
I
it'll
hope
be.
not. I know what you mean. I mean, it kills me. I can imagine as an audience how much it is. But like for me, I know that I love playing Hardik, and it's something that I can. It came out of my heart, and like it was. I think Hardik was also an alter ego who was always within me, but I was always too shy to bring out that guy. So if you remember that scene, where he goes to Luna's room and he talks about that love letter, and he's and then he says वो signal गलत है, and he goes on this rant, right, where he says all the pink stuff, chocolates, खून से love letter लिखा था, दूसरे पेज में बेहोश हो गया, फिर भी complete किया. Those are all those things that I did in my life, and I kind of just put it there, and luckily, like Raj and DK also have such a great sense of humor. that they were seeing humor in all of that, And even when I said, like, pardon my friend, but like when she cries and he says "Sali putti" and he starts crying, I wasn't sure if they would be okay with it because I just did it, and they were like, "Hey, it's really funny." And then that scene was very special because it was the first slightly monologuist scene that I wrote, and then I went to them and I said, "How about we get Soha to do that when he's talking about his love and she do it?" And otherwise, they were thinking of to get like somebody like a teenager, but it'll be really funny if. And if suddenly nobody's expecting her, and then she kind of pops in there, and she was also really sweet to kind of do it. So I have so many fond memories about that film. I can't wait actually for it to happen and for me to get into that avatar of Hardik and play that character again.
But has anything changed? Because it's been so long. You have evolved as an actor also, and you are doing such amazing stuff even in Kalank and Malang. Like you were the talking point of those two films.
Thank you.
And very intense kind of stuff, very unlike Hardik.
Yeah.
So would anything change in Hardik then, like
I
as
don't
an
think
actor?
So. I mean, no, definitely not as an actor. I think as an actor, it's one of the privileges that we have that we get an option to play so many other characters and so many so many professions. You can play a cop, you can play a robber, you can play a psychiatrist, a doctor, an assassin. So you get to experiment with all of this, and I love kind of jumping ship and going from drama to thriller to action to comedy. So but even having said that, Hardik is still so different. Like I've done comedies in a Golmaal also, and I've done other comedies, but Hardik is still the most special for me because he is so different from any other character that I've played because he's just awkwardly weird and weirdly funny, and that's what I love about him.
And he's very distinct. Like it shows that it's a lived out character. It's not like a written character only. So I think that helps that.
Yeah.
So what's next? What you're working on right now apart from Abhay?
Well, I have another film called Loot Case that was to release, but now in April. But now with the given situation, I don't know when. But it'll come out sometime soon, hopefully. Otherwise, there's Abhay season 2 right now, and then there's Golmaal 5 or Go Goa Gone, hopefully, whichever kind of happens first. And then there are one or two other things which I believe that only when you start working on something does it actually start, because I've been in that ship where you think it's going to happen but it doesn't happen. So but touch with, there's a lot of exciting and interesting stuff lined up, and I hope that all of it starts on the time that it has been planned to.
Right. And do you plan to get into writing, script writing more often, or because now you're home, so are you writing anything or doing?
Well, I am actually. I do. I love writing, and I really enjoy it. It's also one of the most solitary things that you do, and it's such a personal experience because I think writing is the only journey that you completely take on your own. It's a relationship between you and your laptop or whatever you're writing on, and then you make people a part of it, and then there are suggestions, and so I really enjoy the process. But it's also it's not just time consuming but energy consuming. So I do it in phases. I'm not a very disciplined person when it comes to writing. Like, okay, every morning I'm going to get up at 8 and I'm going to write. It's just like a brainwave. Like if I have a brainwave, I'll just start writing. It's like that rap video that I did. I woke up one morning and I wanted to do it, and I did it. Yesterday, I felt like doing that. I just did it, and we had that video. So, Siri thinks that I'm talking to. I'm not talking to you, Siri.
So, but then what is Soha's reaction to your writing? Like, is she a very critical person when it comes to your writing? Do you show it to her?
In phases.
In suggestions.
When I'm ready to kind of share it with somebody, I do. But no, she's always been very encouraging, and she's the one who corrects all my grammatical errors because she's very correct when it comes to and proper when it comes to English. So, like when I finish writing something, I'll give it to her and I'll say there'll be 1,000 spelling mistakes in that, but just kind of clean it up for me, please. and once she's done that, then she can get to what the story actually is.
So you have an in-house editor for your copies. That's great.
Yeah, I do.
But
I have an
does she ever
editor and also a published author. So it's like
yes. And also a muse for your photography. Like you have everything inside your house.
Yeah.
So any kind of thing that you are discovering about her, or she's discovering about you, because it's a very different kind of a situation we are in. We tend to
I think
become
right now
somewhat different.
we're actually, both our energies are so much like towards Inaya, that we are kind of discovering ourselves as parents and things that we kind of do. Not that we didn't do that before, but I'm saying now a lot more time both of us spend together with her. She does more than I do. Other than that, I mean, by the time it's done, we're kind of so drained that we'll basically just talk to our families and watch something on TV, eat,
Right.
and sometimes work out together, and then hit the sack. And most of the time,
And
goes
what's
in
the
play dates.
right? And what's the newest thing Inaya has learned in these days?
The newest
She
word
must
that
be
she's
learning.
the newest
Yeah.
word that she's learned is hand sanitizer, because that gets used a lot.
Yeah, you said that in our interview as well. And also, COVID is a word that we
That is what
love.
I've learned. That's what I've learned.
So when did you come up? Like, when did you come across with this word? It's like
I
COVID.
heard I heard it in a conversation. It stuck with me, and I said,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, that's an interesting and intriguing and a very self-explanatory word."
Yes, yes, yes. And who is like, what's the most COVIDiotic thing you have heard in recent times?
You know, most of
In
those
a
are
day or
like,
two.
it will not, हमको नहीं होगा. I like, you कैसे क्यों? तो तुम्हारा address गलत है. What is it like? It's not like a delivery boy with an address who's coming with a virus and just doesn't have yours, right? So yeah. And also, like, on the other side, a lot of people are very scared that if they get it, then they'll die.
Yeah,
Like, the right kind of information does need reach everybody, and I think if we just take precaution in this case, then that's the best thing we can do. And also, it's not a fatal disease as such. I mean, the mortality rate,
right.
from what I know, is between 0.8 to 1%. So in this case, precaution is the best medicine that we can kind of make use of. And if you get it, it's not the end. I mean, it's not that you're going to die, so you don't have to like be that scared. I mean,
Right.
you have to treat yourself. It'll take some time, but hopefully you'll get out of it. So I really hope that we get through this sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and how are you explaining Inaya this entire situation?
I think she's too young to know this, and luckily she hasn't uh, missed. I mean, she hasn't asked me why we're not going out or why am I not going to school. I mean, we've been doing those
Mm-hmm.
classes on the phones through various con calls. So she's been seeing her teachers and her friends, and like I said, she has a couple of friends
Right.
in the building that she's playing with. So she hasn't yet asked why is something different.
Right, right. And also the thing is, what are the precautions you are taking by when you are going out? Maybe.
We're not going out at all. I've been
Mm-hmm.
homebound for the last 13 days actually. 16th, 17th, 18th. 17th was the last day that I shot for Abhay.
Oh,
From the
but even
17th
to
night.
walk masti, or like when you're just
So
going out for.
Masti. Sometimes I have a house help. So he and I sometimes take turns.
Mm-hmm.
So we just do a quick round just outside the building, wearing gloves and a
Okay.
mask, obviously. And so we do that thrice a day, and sometimes she goes on the terrace. But other than that, I mean, I haven't left the arena of my building in the last, since, like I said, since the 17th. So we're homebound.
Right, and Inaya is missing Kemmu, like they are that close. Like she's missing
She
going
has
out
asked
and
about
meeting
it.
people.
They've been chatting on, like I said, on, luckily we have
On calls.
con calls.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's been happening every now and then.
So she has warmed up to the idea of con calls and stuff, like video calls.
Yeah, that's how she. I mean, that's how my mom and dad are also kind of able to see her. But like, she's very. She knows, like, she doesn't want to talk, then she'll just go. She's like, I don't want to talk. So she'll do her own,
Right, right,
and we don't force her to
right,
kind of do anything.
right. So, and about the interview, like you did an amazing interview for the brunch back page. Like it was so much fun, and it showed a very different side of you. And also, you spoke about like being a child actor. Also, like, does that ever like? Do you ever want Inaya to be in front of camera ever? Like when she's a kid?
I have no ambitions or aspirations for her. I just want to give her a complete childhood and a hopefully as good as I can
But
make it
you're
in
not
life.
averse to the idea if she wants to.
I want her to explore everything and have all the information. And once she has traveled a little bit of the world and seen everything that is out there, then whatever she decides to do, it's going to be her ambition. It's going to be her aspiration. I don't want to kind of uh, put that on her that, oh, you have to be good in sports or studies or you should be an actor. I don't want her to grow up in a bubble thinking that this is the only thing that's out there. Once you know that these are the 10,000 things that are out there, then you can choose and see what you're good at
Right.
and go from there.
And has she seen Hum Hai Pyar Ke? Like
No,
dad as a kid?
I haven't seen Hum Hai Pyar Ke in some 2 decades, but no, she has no idea.
What? How?
She doesn't have TV time yet. She watches a little bit of
Oh,
the Word Party and Peppa Pig on the iPad,
okay.
but we haven't given her. She doesn't know that we're actors and we're on TV. Also, one thing
Right.
you have to know about live is now we're getting into the boring section. Lives are supposed to be
Okay.
15 to 20 minutes. We've gone. I think
I don't have a watch, so I don't know what like
yeah,
should we be
I just
cutting?
realized that we've
Oh,
been
we have